It is early in the morning, and the sun begins to rise. The soft light comes through the window, making the room bright and warm. Sarah opens her eyes slowly. She feels sleepy but happy because a new day has started. She stretches her arms and legs and yawns quietly. Her blanket feels soft and cozy, but she knows it is time to get out of bed. The sound of birds singing outside makes her smile. Sarah sits up in her bed and looks around her room. The room is clean and tidy. There is a small table with a lamp next to her bed. A clock is on the table, and Sarah looks at it. The clock shows it is 700 in the morning. She says to herself, "It's a good time to start my day." She puts her feet on the floor and stands up slowly. Her slippers are next to the bed, and she puts them on to keep her feet warm. Sarah walks to the window and opens the curtains. The sunlight comes into the room, and everything looks bright and cheerful. She sees the green trees and flowers outside. The sky is clear and blue. A small bird sits on a tree branch singing a beautiful song. Sarah smiles and says, "Good morning, world." She feels happy and ready for the day. She walks to the bathroom to wash her face. She turns on the faucet and lets the cold water run. She cups her hands under the water and splashes it on her face. The cold water makes her feel awake and fresh. She looks in the mirror and smiles at herself. "Hello, Sarah," she says playfully. She brushes her teeth carefully, making sure they are clean and shiny. Then, she combs her hair neatly and ties it into a ponytail. After getting ready, Sarah goes back to her room. She opens her closet and picks out some comfortable clothes. Today, she chooses a soft t-shirt and a pair of jeans. She folds her pajamas and puts them away. Then, she makes her bed. She pulls the blanket neatly over the mattress and fluffs the pillows. Her room looks clean and organized now, and it makes her feel good. Sarah enjoys starting her day with some stretching. She lays a yoga mat on the floor in her living room. The mat is soft and colorful, and it makes her feel excited to exercise. She starts with simple stretches, like touching her toes and reaching her arms up to the ceiling. Each stretch helps her body wake up and feel ready for the day. Next, Sarah does a few light exercises. She jogs in place for 1 minute, feeling her heart beat faster. Then, she does 10 jumping jacks. She laughs a little because it feels fun to jump and move her arms. Her body feels warm and full of energy now. "Exercise is good for me," she thinks. "It helps me feel strong and happy." After finishing her exercises, Sarah drinks a glass of water. The water is cool and refreshing, and it makes her feel good. She wipes her face with a soft towel and takes a deep breath. "I'm ready for the day," she says with a smile. She looks at the clock and sees it is 7:30 now. She feels proud because she has started her morning well. Sarah likes to take a moment to think about her day. She sits down on her couch and closes her eyes for a few minutes. She thinks about what she wants to do today. She makes a list in her mind. First, she will have breakfast. Then, she will go to the park for a walk. After that, she will work on her projects. She feels calm and focused. The morning sunlight fills the room, making everything look bright and beautiful. Sarah feels grateful for the new day. She opens a notebook and writes down 3 things she is thankful for. "I am thankful for the sunny weather, my warm bed, and my good health," she writes. Writing these things makes her feel positive and happy. After finishing her morning stretches, Sarah feels hungry. She goes to the kitchen to make breakfast. The kitchen is clean and bright, with sunlight shining through the window. On the counter, there are some bananas, apples, and a loaf of bread. Sarah smiles and says, "Time to make something tasty." She opens the refrigerator and takes out some milk, butter, and eggs. Sarah decides to make scrambled eggs and toast for breakfast. She takes a frying pan from the cabinet and places it on the stove. Then, she turns on the stove and sets the heat to low. She cracks 2 eggs into a bowl and adds a little milk. Using a fork, she mixes the eggs and milk until they are smooth. This is going to be delicious, she thinks. Next, Sarah puts a small piece of butter in the frying pan. The butter melts quickly and makes a soft, sizzling sound. She pours the egg mixture into the pan and stirs it with a spatula. The eggs start to cook and turn yellow and fluffy. Sarah adds a pinch of salt and pepper for flavor. The smell of the eggs fills the kitchen, making her even hungrier. While the eggs are cooking, Sarah prepares her toast. She takes 2 slices of bread and puts them in the toaster. The toaster makes a quiet ticking sound as the bread heats up. In a few minutes, the bread pops up, golden and crispy. Sarah spreads a little butter on the toast, watching it melt into the warm bread. She places the toast on a plate next to the scrambled eggs. To make her breakfast even better, Sarah cuts up some fruit. She peels a banana and slices it into small pieces. Then, she washes an apple and cuts it into thin slices. She arranges the fruit neatly on her plate, making it look colorful and inviting. "This looks so good," she says with a smile. She pours herself a glass of milk and sits down at the table to eat. Sarah takes her time to enjoy her meal. She eats a bite of toast with butter, followed by a forkful of scrambled eggs. The eggs are soft and creamy, just the way she likes them. Then, she eats a slice of banana and a piece of apple. The fruit is sweet and fresh. She takes a sip of milk and feels refreshed. "Breakfast is my favorite meal," she thinks. While eating, Sarah looks out the kitchen window. She sees her neighbors walking their dogs and children riding bikes on the sidewalk. The trees sway gently in the breeze, and the sound of birds chirping makes the morning feel peaceful. She feels happy and thankful for this quiet moment to relax and enjoy her food. After finishing her breakfast, Sarah cleans up the kitchen. She washes the dishes and puts them back in the cabinet. She wipes the counter with a clean cloth, making sure everything looks neat. Sarah feels good about keeping her kitchen tidy. "A clean space makes me feel happy," she says to herself. Before leaving the kitchen, Sarah decides to make a cup of tea. She fills a kettle with water and places it on the stove. While waiting for the water to boil, she chooses her favorite tea. It is a bag of chamomile tea, which has a sweet and calming flavor. When the kettle whistles, she pours the hot water into a mug and adds the tea bag. The tea smells wonderful, and Sarah feels excited to drink it. Sarah carries her cup of tea to the living room and sits on the couch. She takes a small sip of the warm tea and closes her eyes. The tea tastes sweet and calming, and it makes her feel relaxed. "This is the perfect way to start my day," she thinks. She takes another sip and smiles. Now that Sarah has eaten and enjoyed her tea, she feels ready to start her day. She thinks about what she wants to do next. She decides to take a walk in the park to enjoy the fresh air. She puts her cup in the sink and grabs her shoes and a light jacket. "Let's go," she says with excitement. After putting on her jacket, Sarah steps outside. The morning air is cool and fresh. She takes a deep breath and smiles. The sun is shining brightly, and the sky is a beautiful shade of blue. Birds are flying above, singing cheerful songs. Sarah feels happy to be outside and ready for her walk. She starts walking down her street. The houses are quiet, and the neighborhood feels peaceful. She waves to an elderly neighbor watering his plants. "Good morning," Sarah says with a smile. The neighbor waves back and says, "Good morning, Sarah. It's a beautiful day, isn't it?" Sarah nods and keeps walking. As she reaches the park, Sarah sees children playing on the swings and slides. A group of people is jogging on the trail. Dogs are running around, chasing balls and sticks. The park is full of energy and life. Sarah feels glad to be part of this lively morning scene. Sarah walks to her favorite path in the park. It is a small trail surrounded by tall trees. The trees provide shade, making the path cool and comfortable. She hears the sound of leaves rustling in the wind. The soft crunch of gravel under her shoes is calming. This is so peaceful, she thinks. While walking, Sarah notices the flowers blooming on the side of the trail. There are bright yellow daisies, red roses, and purple lavender. She stops for a moment to admire their beauty. She bends down to smell a flower, and the sweet scent makes her smile. Nature is amazing, she whispers to herself. A little further down the trail, Sarah finds a bench under a large oak tree. She decides to sit and take a short break. She looks around and enjoys the view of the park. The green grass looks soft and bright. The lake nearby reflects the sunlight like a mirror. Ducks are swimming in the water, making small ripples. While sitting, Sarah takes out her phone and checks the time. She sees that she has been walking for 20 minutes. She feels proud of herself for staying active. Walking is good for my body and my mind, she thinks. She decides to take a few deep breaths to relax. She inhales deeply and exhales slowly, enjoying the calm feeling. After resting for a few minutes, Sarah gets up and continues her walk. She sees a group of children flying kites in an open field. The kites are colorful and move gracefully in the wind. Sarah watches as one kite goes higher and higher. That looks like fun, she thinks with a smile. As she walks back toward the park entrance, Sarah notices a small ice cream cart. A man is serving ice cream cones to children and their parents. Sarah decides to treat herself to a cone. She walks to the cart and says, "1 vanilla cone, please." The man hands her the cone, and Sarah takes a bite. The ice cream is cold, creamy, and delicious. Holding her ice cream cone, Sarah continues her walk home. She feels happy and refreshed from her time at the park. The sun is higher in the sky now, and the day is getting warmer. She hears the laughter of children playing and the distant barking of a dog. What a perfect morning, she thinks. As Sarah reaches her house, she finishes her ice cream and throws the wrapper in the trash. She steps inside and takes off her jacket and shoes. She feels a little tired, but very happy. She thinks about all the lovely moments she experienced during her walk. "This was a great start to my day," she says to herself. Now that her walk is over, Sarah decides to relax for a while. She sits on her couch and looks through the photos she took of the park. The pictures of flowers and kites make her smile. She feels grateful for the simple joys of life. Sarah thinks about what she wants to do next. She has some errands to run later, but for now, she just wants to enjoy the peace of her home. She leans back on the couch, closes her eyes, and takes a deep breath. This is a perfect morning, she thinks. It is 6:00 p.m. Sarah finishes her work and turns off her computer. She feels tired but proud of her day. She smiles and says goodbye to her colleagues. Everyone waves and says, "See you tomorrow." Sarah picks up her bag and walks out of the office. The sun is setting and the sky is orange and pink. Sarah looks up and takes a deep breath. She loves how the evening sky makes her feel calm. Birds fly across the sky, heading to their nests. The streets are busy with people rushing home. Sarah walks to the bus stop. She hears cars honking and people talking. She stands in line with other people waiting for the bus. She checks her phone and sees a message from her best friend, Emily. The message says, "How was your day at work?" Sarah smiles and replies, "It was good, but I am so tired." The bus arrives and Sarah gets on. She looks for a seat near the window. She loves sitting by the window because she can see the city. The city lights are starting to glow. Buildings, cars, and streetlights make everything look alive. Sarah sits down and looks outside. She sees a small cafe where people are sitting and drinking coffee. She thinks, maybe I will visit that cafe this weekend. The bus moves slowly because there is a lot of traffic. Sarah does not mind. She enjoys the view of the busy streets. On the bus, Sarah thinks about her plans for the evening. She decides to make a simple dinner. She also wants to read her favorite book and watch a TV show. She feels happy thinking about her relaxing evening. After 20 minutes, the bus stops near Sarah's house. She gets off and walks towards her apartment. The air is cool, and the streets are quieter here. She sees a small park on her way home. Children are playing, and their laughter fills the air. Sarah stops at a small store near her apartment. She buys some bread, milk, and fruits for dinner. She loves fresh fruits, especially apples and bananas. She thanks the shopkeeper and heads home. She feels good because she has everything she needs for the evening. When Sarah reaches her apartment, she opens the door and steps inside. The room feels warm and cozy. She puts her bag on the table and takes off her shoes. She stretches her arms and says, "Ah, home sweet home." She goes to the kitchen and drinks a glass of water. The cold water makes her feel refreshed. She looks at the clock and sees it is almost 7:00 p.m. She decides to clean her living room a little before dinner. Sarah picks up some books and magazines from the sofa and places them neatly on the shelf. She folds a blanket and puts it in a basket. The living room looks clean and tidy now. Sarah feels happy because she likes a clean home. After cleaning, Sarah lights a small candle in the corner of the room. The soft light makes the room look peaceful. She smiles and thinks, "This is my favorite part of the day." She turns on some soft music to make the evening even better. Sarah goes to her bedroom to change into comfortable clothes. She opens her wardrobe and chooses her favorite blue pajamas. She likes wearing soft and loose clothes at home. After changing, she feels much more relaxed. She returns to the kitchen to prepare dinner. She takes out some vegetables, bread, and cheese from the fridge. She decides to make a simple vegetable sandwich. She cuts the vegetables slowly and carefully. The smell of fresh tomatoes and cucumbers fills the air. Sarah heats the bread on a pan. She adds the vegetables and cheese to make her sandwich. She also pours a glass of orange juice to drink with her dinner. She places her food on the table and sits down to eat. While eating, Sarah thinks about her day. She remembers the tasks she finished at work. She feels proud of herself for working hard. She also thinks about her plans for tomorrow. She decides to make a list of things to do before bed. After finishing her meal, Sarah washes her dishes. She cleans the sink and wipes the kitchen counter. She likes keeping her kitchen clean and organized. She puts everything back in its place. The kitchen looks neat and ready for the next day. Sarah sits on the sofa with her favorite book. She opens the book and starts reading. The story is very interesting, and Sarah gets lost in the world of the book. She loves how books make her feel happy and calm. As she reads, Sarah hears the sound of rain outside. She looks out the window and sees small drops of rain falling. The streetlights make the rain look like tiny diamonds. Sarah smiles and says, "Rain makes everything better." Sarah gets up and makes a cup of tea. She holds the warm cup in her hands and sits back on the sofa. She takes small sips and enjoys the sound of the rain. She thinks, "This is the perfect evening." Sarah finishes her tea and puts the cup on the table. She feels warm and cozy. The sound of rain outside makes her feel even more relaxed. She decides to watch an episode of her favorite TV show. She picks up the remote and turns on the television. The TV show starts, and Sarah smiles. The characters in the show are funny and make her laugh. She enjoys watching their adventures and stories. Every now and then, Sarah takes a deep breath and stretches her arms. She feels her body relaxing after a long day. After the show ends, Sarah checks the time. It is 9:00 p.m. She thinks, "It's time to get ready for tomorrow." She picks up her notebook and pen from the table. Sarah likes to write down her plans before going to bed. It helps her feel organized and ready. She opens her notebook and writes a short list. Wake up at 6:30 a.m., go for a walk, prepare breakfast, and attend a meeting at 10:00 a.m. She adds a few more tasks to her list. After finishing, she smiles and thinks, "Now I know what to do tomorrow." Sarah puts the notebook away and walks to her closet. She looks for clothes to wear to work tomorrow. She chooses a white shirt and black pants. She irons the shirt carefully and hangs it near the bed. She feels happy knowing that everything is ready for the morning. Next, Sarah decides to do a short workout. She spreads a yoga mat on the floor and puts on some soft music. She stretches her arms and legs slowly. The movements feel good and help her relax even more. She does a few light exercises like touching her toes and doing small circles with her arms. After her workout, Sarah feels fresh. She takes a towel and goes to the bathroom. She washes her face with warm water and dries it gently. She applies some lotion to keep her skin soft. Sarah looks in the mirror and smiles. She says, "Good job today, Sarah." It is now 9:30 p.m. and Sarah decides to wind down. She lights another candle in her bedroom. The soft, warm light fills the room and makes it feel peaceful. She sits on her bed with her journal. Sarah likes to write about her day before sleeping. She opens the journal and starts writing. "Today was a good day. I finished my tasks at work, cleaned the house, and enjoyed a nice meal." She writes about her feelings and what made her happy. Writing helps her feel calm and clear her mind. When she finishes writing, Sarah closes the journal and places it on her bedside table. She looks out the window and notices the rain has stopped. The street is quiet, and the lights outside are soft and dim. She feels grateful for the peaceful evening. Sarah decides to read a little more before bed. She picks up her book from the table and opens it to the page she marked. The story pulls her in, and she feels like she is part of the book's world. She loves how reading helps her forget about everything else. As she reads, Sarah feels her eyes getting heavy. She yawns and stretches. She knows it is time to get ready for bed. She puts the book down and stands up. She walks to the bathroom to brush her teeth. In the bathroom, Sarah brushes her teeth slowly. She hums a little tune while brushing. The minty taste of the toothpaste makes her feel fresh. After rinsing, she looks in the mirror one last time and says, "Good night, Sarah." Back in her bedroom, Sarah pulls back the covers on her bed. She climbs in and adjusts the pillow. She feels warm and comfortable. She turns off the candle and the bedside lamp. The room is dark and quiet now. Before closing her eyes, Sarah thinks about her family and friends. She feels thankful for the people in her life. She whispers, "I hope everyone has sweet dreams tonight." Then she closes her eyes and takes a deep breath. The sound of the rain has stopped, but Sarah hears the faint chirping of crickets outside. She listens to the soft sounds of the night. She feels calm and safe in her bed. As Sarah drifts off to sleep, she dreams about the things she loves. She dreams of sunny days, beautiful gardens, and spending time with her friends. Her face looks peaceful as she sleeps. Emma's New Bakery. Practice English with this amazing story about Emma's New Bakery. Always watch the complete video for best practice. Always comment your favorite part of the story. Write anything in the comment so I know that this story is good for you. Now let's start. Emma lived in a small, quiet town. She worked at a local library, helping people find books and sharing her love for stories. But Emma had another dream. She loved baking. Every evening after work, she baked cookies, cakes, and pies in her tiny kitchen. The smell of fresh bread and sweet frosting made her happy. Emma's friends always told her she was talented. "Your cookies are the best I've ever tasted," her friend Sarah often said. Emma smiled, but didn't believe she could turn her passion into something more. She thought, opening a bakery sounds impossible. I don't have the money or the time. One day, Emma saw a small shop for rent near the town square. It had big windows and a wooden sign that read, "Available for rent." Her heart skipped a beat. She imagined it filled with cakes, muffins, and happy customers. But then doubt crept in. Can I really do this? She wondered. Emma went home and talked to her best friend, Lily. I found a shop today, Emma said, her voice shaky. I want to open a bakery, but I'm scared. Lily smiled and held Emma's hands. You can do it. Start small, and I'll help you. You're amazing at baking! The next morning, Emma walked to the shop and looked through the windows. She saw empty shelves and dusty floors, but she also saw a possibility. Emma took a deep breath and decided, I will try. She called the number on the sign and spoke to the landlord. Emma spent her savings to rent the shop. It wasn't fancy, but it felt like home. She cleaned the floors, painted the walls a soft yellow, and bought second-hand furniture. Her family and friends came to help. Sarah painted a sign that said, Emma's Bakery, and Lily brought flowers to decorate the tables. Emma worked hard to prepare for the opening day. She practiced her recipes every night. She baked fluffy cupcakes, warm bread, and pies with golden crusts. Her kitchen smelled wonderful, and her excitement grew. But she also felt nervous. What if no one comes? She asked Lily. What if they don't like my baking? Lily shook her head. Emma, your food is delicious. People will love it. Trust yourself. Finally, the big day arrived. Emma woke up early and went to the bakery. She set up the counter with cookies, cakes, and fresh bread. She put flowers on the tables and wrote, Grand Opening, on the chalkboard outside. Her heart raced as she unlocked the door. At first, the bakery was quiet. Emma stood behind the counter, waiting. She felt nervous and tried to keep busy by rearranging the cookies. Then, the bell above the door rang. Her first customer walked in, an elderly man with a kind smile. Good morning, he said. I saw your sign and thought I'd stop by. Emma greeted him warmly and helped him choose a loaf of bread. He tasted a sample and smiled. This is delicious, he said. Emma felt a wave of relief. Soon, more people came in. A mother bought cupcakes for her children. A couple ordered coffee and shared a slice of pie. Emma felt her confidence grow with every smile and compliment. The bakery was filling with laughter and the smell of fresh baked goods. By the end of the day, Emma was exhausted but happy. She sat down with Lily and Sarah, who had stayed to help. You did it, Emma, Sarah said. Your bakery is a success, Emma smiled. She realized that her dream was just beginning. Emma's bakery became the talk of the town. Word spread quickly about the delicious treats and warm atmosphere. Every morning, Emma arrived early to bake fresh bread, muffins, and pies. The sweet aroma filled the air, drawing people in. She loved seeing the happy faces of her customers as they enjoyed her food. One morning, a young girl named Sophie came in with her father. Sophie looked shy but curious. Do you have chocolate cupcakes? She asked quietly. Emma knelt down and smiled. I do. Would you like one with sprinkles? Sophie nodded, her face lighting up. Emma handed her a cupcake, and Sophie's father promised they'd come back soon. Each day, the bakery grew busier. Emma started noticing regular customers. Mr. Brown, the elderly man who had come on the first day, came every morning for a loaf of bread. The mother who bought cupcakes for her children became a weekly visitor. Even Sophie and her father came back, trying something new each time. Running the bakery wasn't easy. Emma worked long hours, often staying late to prepare for the next day. She made mistakes too. One morning, she forgot to add sugar to the cookies. When a customer mentioned they tasted strange, Emma apologized and gave them a free cupcake. She learned to laugh at her small errors and improve. Emma's friends continued to support her. Lily helped manage the cash register during busy hours, and Sarah designed a small menu board. Together, they made the bakery feel welcoming and special. Emma realized she couldn't have done it without them. As the week went on, Emma started experimenting with new recipes. She added a lemon tart to the menu, which became an instant hit. Customers loved how tangy and sweet it was. Emma also tried baking savory pastries, like spinach and cheese rolls. She loved hearing feedback and seeing people enjoy her creations. One afternoon, Emma decided to host a Tia and Treats event. She placed flyers around town, inviting everyone to enjoy a cup of tea with a slice of cake. On the day of the event, the bakery was packed. Families, friends, and neighbors gathered, chatting and laughing over tea. Emma felt proud watching her dream come to life. During the event, Emma met Mrs. Patel, a retired chef who used to run a restaurant in the city. Mrs. Patel complimented Emma's baking and offered advice. "Your food is wonderful," she said, "but you should think about adding more variety. People love to try new things." Emma took her words to heart and began planning new menu ideas. One evening, as Emma closed the bakery, she found a handwritten note on the counter. It said, "Thank you for making our mornings brighter. Your bakery is a gift to our town." Emma felt tears in her eyes. She kept the note in her pocket as a reminder of why she started this journey. Despite her success, Emma faced challenges. Supplies ran out faster than she expected, and she had to learn how to manage her inventory. Some days she felt overwhelmed by the workload. But whenever she felt discouraged, she thought about the smiles of her customers and the joy her baking brought to the community. As the first week ended, Emma sat down to reflect. She was tired, but fulfilled. The bakery had become more than just a business. It was a place where people connected, shared stories, and made memories. Emma realized she had not only built a bakery, but also a community. Emma's bakery continued to thrive, but success came with new challenges. One morning, she arrived to find a broken oven. Panic set in as she realized she couldn't bake her usual treats. "What do I do now?" Emma thought. Instead of giving up, she called a local repair service. While waiting, she decided to sell items that didn't need baking, like sandwiches and fresh coffee. Customers appreciated her effort, and by afternoon, the oven was fixed. The experience taught Emma the importance of being prepared. She started saving part of her earnings for emergencies and bought a small backup oven. "It's better to be safe than sorry," she told herself. This small step gave her peace of mind, knowing she could handle unexpected problems. As weeks passed, Emma noticed she couldn't keep up with the growing number of customers alone. The mornings were especially hectic, with people forming long lines. Emma decided it was time to hire help. She posted a sign in the bakery window that read, "Help wanted, join our team." Within days, she received several applications. Emma interviewed each applicant carefully. She wanted someone who shared her passion for baking and customer service. After much consideration, she hired Mia, a cheerful and hardworking woman who had experience in a cafe. Mia quickly became an asset to the bakery, greeting customers warmly and helping with the daily tasks. One of the biggest challenges Emma faced was balancing her time. She wanted to focus on baking new recipes, but found herself spending hours managing finances and supplies. Emma decided to seek advice from her friend Lily, who had experience running a business. Lily suggested using a simple software to track expenses and orders. "It will save you so much time," she said. Emma followed her advice, and soon, her workload felt more manageable. Emma also made time to connect with her customers. She started asking for their opinions on her menu. "What's your favorite item?" she would ask. People loved sharing their thoughts, and their feedback helped Emma improve. One customer suggested adding gluten-free options, while another asked for more vegan treats. Emma realized the importance of listening to her community. One afternoon, Emma noticed a little boy staring at the display case. He seemed hesitant to speak, so Emma approached him. "Hi there, what's your favorite treat?" she asked. The boy shyly pointed at a chocolate chip cookie. Emma handed him one and said, "This is on the house. Enjoy." Moments like these reminded Emma why she loved her work. It wasn't just about selling food, it was about making people happy. As the bakery grew, Emma decided to expand her menu. She introduced seasonal items like pumpkin pie in the fall and strawberry tarts in the summer. Customers were excited to try the new treats, and Emma enjoyed experimenting with fresh ingredients. Each season brought new inspiration, keeping her menu exciting and diverse. Emma also wanted to give back to the community that supported her. She organized a charity bake sale, with all proceeds going to the local school. Children and parents came together, enjoying the event while raising money for new books and supplies. The bake sale was a huge success, and Emma felt proud to contribute to a good cause. Despite her busy schedule, Emma made time for herself. She started setting aside one afternoon a week to relax and recharge. Whether it was reading a book, going for a walk, or spending time with friends, these small breaks kept her motivated. Emma realized that taking care of herself was just as important as taking care of her bakery. At the end of a long day, Emma often sat by the window of her bakery, watching the world go by. She thought about how much her life had changed since opening the shop. It hadn't always been easy, but every challenge had taught her something valuable. Emma felt grateful for the support of her friends, family, and community. She also felt proud of herself for pursuing her dream. The bakery was more than just a place to sell food. It was a space where people gathered, shared stories, and created memories. Emma knew she had built something special, and she looked forward to what the future would bring. Emma's bakery was not only growing in popularity, but also becoming a hub for the local community. One sunny morning, as she arranged fresh muffins in the display case, a woman walked in holding a clipboard. "Good morning! Are you the owner?" she asked with a warm smile. Emma nodded. The woman introduced herself as Clara, an event planner looking for a local bakery to cater an upcoming wedding. Emma listened attentively as Clara explained her vision. The bride and groom wanted a dessert table filled with mini cakes, cookies, and pastries. Clara had heard glowing reviews about Emma's bakery and wanted her to be part of the big day. Emma felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. It was her first time catering such a large event, but she saw it as an opportunity to showcase her talent. Over the next few weeks, Emma and Clara worked closely together. Emma experimented with different flavors and designs, creating samples for the couple to taste. They loved her creations, especially her signature lemon tarts and chocolate eclairs. Emma felt proud when they finalized the menu, knowing her baked goods would play a role in someone's special day. As the wedding date approached, Emma's kitchen became a whirlwind of activity. She woke up early each morning to bake and stayed late to perfect every detail. Maya, her assistant, was a huge help, taking care of the shop while Emma focused on the catering order. They worked as a team, and their hard work paid off. The wedding day arrived, and Emma delivered the desserts herself. She carefully set up the dessert table, arranging each item with care. Guests admired the colorful display, and many approached Emma to compliment her work. Some even asked if she catered other events, opening the door to more opportunities. Emma returned to her bakery that evening, exhausted but happy. She realized how far she had come since starting her small shop. Catering had been a challenge, but it also showed her the potential to grow her business in new ways. She decided to add a catering service to her offerings, advertising it on her menu and social media. One day, Emma received a letter from a local food magazine. They wanted to feature her bakery in an upcoming issue about hidden gems in the city. Emma could hardly believe it. She scheduled an interview and photo shoot, eager to share her story. During the interview, Emma talked about her journey, how she started the bakery, the challenges she faced, and the joy of serving her community. The article highlighted her dedication and creativity with stunning photos of her desserts. When the magazine was published, customers flooded the bakery, excited to try her famous treats. Emma's bakery gained even more recognition when she participated in a local food festival. Vendors from across the city set up booths to showcase their specialties. Emma created a special menu for the event, featuring unique items like lavender honey cupcakes and rosemary shortbread cookies. Her booth was one of the most popular, drawing crowds throughout the day. At the festival, Emma met other small business owners who shared her passion for food. They exchanged ideas and supported each other, forming a network of like-minded entrepreneurs. Emma felt inspired by their stories and realized she wasn't alone in her journey. One of the vendors, a coffee roaster named Jack, suggested a collaboration. "Your pastries would pair perfectly with my coffee," he said. Emma agreed, and they started offering coffee and pastry bundles at both their shops. The partnership was a hit, attracting new customers to both businesses. Emma also began mentoring aspiring bakers. Young people often came to her for advice, eager to learn from her experience. Emma enjoyed sharing tips and encouraging them to follow their dreams. "If you believe in yourself and work hard, you can achieve anything," she told them. Despite her busy schedule, Emma stayed true to her values. She continued to prioritize quality and connection, ensuring every customer felt welcome. She learned to embrace change and take risks, knowing they often led to growth. Emma also celebrated her achievements, no matter how small. As she looked back on her journey, Emma felt grateful for every opportunity that came her way. The bakery had become more than just a business. It was a place where dreams were made, both for her and for others. She felt a deep sense of fulfillment, knowing she had created something meaningful. That night, as Emma closed the bakery, she wrote a list of goals for the future. She dreamed of opening a second location, offering baking classes, and even publishing a cookbook. The possibilities seemed endless, and Emma was ready to embrace them all. Months passed, and Emma's bakery continued to thrive. Every morning, customers lined up to enjoy her fresh pastries and aromatic coffee. Emma felt a sense of pride and gratitude as she greeted each person who walked through her doors. But amidst the joy of her success, Emma began to dream bigger. She wondered what else she could achieve and how she could share her love for baking with even more people. One afternoon, a regular customer named Sarah approached Emma with an idea. Sarah was a teacher at a local community center, and she thought Emma would be the perfect person to teach a baking class. Many of our students want to learn how to bake, Sarah explained. You have a special way of making people feel confident in the kitchen. Emma loved the idea but felt nervous about teaching. After giving it some thought, Emma decided to give it a try. She created a simple menu for her first class: chocolate chip cookies and vanilla cupcakes. On the day of the class, Emma arrived early to set up. She organized the ingredients and tools, making sure everything was ready for the students. The class was a mix of beginners and more experienced bakers, but Emma made everyone feel at ease. She started with a warm welcome and explained the steps slowly and clearly. As the students mixed dough and piped frosting, Emma walked around the room, offering encouragement and tips. She smiled as she saw their excitement grow with each step. By the end of the class, the students had created their own treats to take home. They thanked Emma for her patience and clear instructions. One student, a young girl named Lily, proudly held up her cupcakes and said, "I want to be a baker like you one day." Emma's heart melted. She realized that teaching was not only fun, but also a way to inspire others. The baking classes became a regular event at the community center. Emma introduced new recipes each week, from classic pies to artisan bread. The classes brought people together, fostering a sense of community and creativity. Emma loved seeing the joy on her students' faces as they learned new skills and shared their creations with family and friends. Emma's classes also opened new doors for her bakery. Many students became loyal customers, stopping by the shop to buy ingredients and tools or simply to say hello. Word spread about the classes, and soon Emma received requests to teach private workshops and host events at her bakery. One day, Emma decided to host a baking competition for her community. Participants of all ages signed up, excited to showcase their skills. Emma set up the event in the bakery's backyard, decorating the space with colorful banners and lights. Judges included Clara, the event planner, and Jack, the coffee roaster, both of whom had become Emma's close friends. The competition was a huge success. Families cheered as contestants presented their creations, and the air was filled with laughter and the sweet aroma of baked goods. Emma awarded prizes for creativity, presentation, and taste, ensuring everyone felt celebrated. The competition reminded Emma of her own journey and how far she had come. It also gave her an idea, a cookbook filled with her favorite recipes and stories. Emma began writing in the evenings, recalling the memories tied to each dish. She included tips for beginners, hoping to make the book accessible to everyone. When the cookbook was published, it received rave reviews. Readers loved Emma's personal touch and the way she explained each recipe with care. The book became a bestseller, reaching people far beyond her city. Emma received letters from aspiring bakers across the country, thanking her for inspiring them to start their own journeys. With her newfound recognition, Emma was invited to appear on a local TV show. She demonstrated how to make her signature lemon tarts, charming the audience with her warmth and passion. The experience boosted her confidence and brought even more attention to her bakery. As Emma's dreams expanded, so did her bakery. She opened a second location in a neighboring town, hiring and training a team that shared her values. The new bakery quickly became a favorite spot, known for its welcoming atmosphere and delicious treats. Emma made it a priority to visit both locations regularly, connecting with her customers and staff. Despite her busy schedule, Emma never lost sight of what mattered most. She continued to innovate, introducing seasonal menus and collaborating with local artists and chefs. She also remained deeply involved in her community, donating to food banks and supporting local charities. Emma's story became an inspiration to others, proving that passion and perseverance could turn a small dream into something extraordinary. Every morning, as she opened the doors to her bakery, Emma felt grateful for the journey she had taken and excited for the adventures yet to come. Emma's life had become a beautiful blend of hard work, community, and creativity. Her bakeries were thriving, her cookbook was inspiring bakers everywhere, and her classes were bringing people together. But Emma felt that something was still missing. She realized she wanted to create a legacy that would continue long after her hands had stopped kneading dough. One evening, as Emma walked through her first bakery, she paused to admire the photos on the walls. They told the story of her journey from her first batch of cookies to the grand opening of her second bakery. Emma thought about all the people who had supported her along the way and how their kindness had shaped her success. She wanted to give back in a meaningful way. Emma decided to start a program called Baking for All. The program offered free baking classes to children and adults who couldn't afford them. She partnered with local schools, community centers, and charities to spread the word. The classes focused on teaching basic baking skills, building confidence, and encouraging creativity. The program quickly gained popularity. Children who had never held a whisk before were now making cupcakes and cookies with bright smiles on their faces. Adults who had doubted their abilities discovered a love for baking they never knew they had. The classes not only taught skills, but also created bonds between participants. One of Emma's favorite memories was of an elderly man named Mr. Johnson, who joined a class at the community center. He had recently lost his wife and felt lonely. Baking gave him a new purpose, and he became a regular at Emma's bakery. He often shared stories about his wife's love for pies and even taught Emma a family recipe. As the program grew, Emma decided to establish a foundation to fund Baking for All and other community initiatives. She worked with a team of volunteers to organize events, secure donations, and expand the program to other towns. Emma was thrilled to see her vision come to life, knowing it was making a difference in so many lives. Meanwhile, Emma's personal life also flourished. She reconnected with old friends and made new ones through her baking journey. One friend, Clara, who had helped with the bakery's grand opening, became a close confidant. Together, they planned events, brainstormed ideas, and supported each other in their endeavors. Emma also found love unexpectedly. Jack, the coffee roaster who had been one of her earliest supporters, became a constant presence in her life. Their shared passion for food and community brought them closer, and they often collaborated on projects for the bakery. Over time, their friendship blossomed into something deeper. Jack surprised Emma one evening with a special proposal. He had baked a cake decorated with the words, "Will you marry me?" Emma laughed and cried at the same time, overwhelmed with joy. Their wedding was a small, intimate affair held in the bakery's garden. Friends and family celebrated with delicious food and heartfelt toasts. As the years went by, Emma's bakeries became landmarks in the community. People came not just for the pastries, but for the warmth and kindness they felt there. Emma trained a new generation of bakers, passing on her recipes, techniques, and values. She believed that baking was not just about food, it was about connection and joy. Emma's cookbook turned into a series, with volumes dedicated to different themes: holiday baking, bread making, and desserts from around the world. She traveled to gather inspiration, learning from other cultures and incorporating their flavors into her creations. Each book was a reflection of her love for baking and her curiosity about the world. Emma also began speaking at events and conferences, sharing her story and encouraging others to follow their dreams. She emphasized the importance of resilience, creativity, and community support. Her words inspired countless people to take the first step toward their own goals. In her later years, Emma decided to slow down and spend more time enjoying life's simple pleasures. She still visited her bakeries regularly, greeting customers and tasting new creations. But she also made time for travel, gardening, and writing. Emma cherished quiet mornings with Jack, sipping coffee and watching the sunrise. One day, Emma's team surprised her with a celebration to mark the bakery's 20th anniversary. They decorated the shop with balloons, photos, and a giant cake shaped like the bakery itself. Customers, friends, and family gathered to share memories and express their gratitude for all that Emma had done. Emma stood in the middle of the crowd, overwhelmed by the love and support around her. She realized that her dream had become so much more than she had ever imagined. It was not just a bakery, but a place where people felt connected, valued, and inspired. As the party ended, Emma made a quiet promise to herself on Let's Start It. She would continue to share her passion and positivity for as long as she could. She knew that the lessons she had learned and the connections she had made were the true treasures of her journey. And so, Emma's story came full circle. What started as a simple dream had grown into a legacy that touched countless lives. Her bakeries, her books, and her programs were a testament to the power of hard work, kindness, and a love for what you do.